Last night I saw Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, directed by Gore Verbinski of Pirates of the Caribbean fame and starring Sam Rockwell as well as an ensemble cast. This movie is about a man from the future who claims to be from the future, who says that he travels the past to save the world from artificial intelligence, from an evil artificial intelligence. Now you might be thinking, cringe, that premise is dumb and lame. And I'm right there with you, but I didn't honestly know what this movie was about going in. I was in on this movie because of Gore Verbinski, because he made Pirates of the Caribbean. That's why I mentioned it. I love those movies, I really do. I think I was the perfect age when they were coming out. I don't want to say they're these underrated masterpieces. They're these all-time greats, but I think that they are incredibly high-quality products of their time. It's three fresh, I don't want to say original, blockbusters that they pumped out in 5 years, and they all look really good. They are all good enough. They're all good enough movies, and they all made a bunch of money. And yeah, you just don't see stuff like you won't see stuff like that again. Dune's the closest thing, but I mean, even then, it's going to take 7 years between the three. That's not bad. That's not bad. But Pirates of the Caribbean, they pumped them right out, and I don't know, whatever. I love those movies, and Sam Rockwell, I really like too. So the premise, once it started, whatever, I was already sitting in my seat. And I really enjoyed this movie. I did. I had a good time for hour and 50 of the 2 hours and 15 minutes. Does that mean, am I saying that they could have cut it down to an hour and 50 minutes? Yeah, I think there was some fat they definitely could have cut. But you could say that with a lot of movies that aren't great. A lot of 6 out of 10, 2 hour and 20 minute movies. Basically all of them could be 7 out of 10, 100-minute movies. And this is one of them. This movie is fun. It's an original idea. It's fresh. I don't love the idea, but I do love a crew. I'm a simple man. I love a crew getting assembled and setting off to do what the crew's going to do. Rob the casino, save the world. I'm looking at movies in this stack. I had Ocean's 11, obviously. Save the World, Mission Impossible. Save the World, Top Gun Maverick. I love a crew. I don't have a lot of examples. I got the upside down DVD stick. Whatever, I'm not gonna get bogged down by that. So, it was simple enough. We got our crew and we're gonna save the world. And once the direction by Verbinski from the start, it does bring you in. It's really well made. This movie, I think, again, for an hour and 50 minutes, I think that the direction is the strong suit. The script is decent enough. It's good enough. It's cringe at times, but there is some good jokes. There's like an underlying tone, or an underlying theme, an underlying, I guess, the B-plot maybe, of the constant of school shootings at the local public school. There's been like 4 in the last year, I think. But they play it off like a joke, honestly, for the most part. And it feels very heavy at first, the sudden shift, but it does end up working for me, that whole storyline. That's some of the best stuff of the movie with Juno Temple. She's very good in this movie. I don't know who she is. I didn't know who she was, I should say, going in. She looked familiar, but she was really good in this movie as the grieving mother. They go through the story like they tell it by, like, Sam Rockwell's character. He assembles his crew, and then you get each members of the crew's last couple days. The one thing I will say is that when you get this crew assembled at the start, you can tell who's not going to make it to the end of the scene, who's not going to be there in the third act, by who's not famous, like which characters are played by the actors you've never heard of, like Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz. You can tell those characters are going to be there at the end, but the guy who just looks like a random white guy, you can probably tell that he's going to be the first death. And no spoilers, but yeah, they bounce around from the characters' last few days. That part is almost where they lose me. The Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz stuff is terrible. It's boring. Well, it's not terrible. It's dull. The kids in this movie aren't that funny. Writing for kids is tough, and kids can be funny, and it almost feels like a Weapons ripoff. But like some of the scenes at the school. But anyway, the scenes at the school definitely could have been better. Outside of the school, with the school shooting, it was funny, but that storyline didn't work for me. Pena and Beetz. What's her name? The Juno Temple thing, storyline worked for me a lot. Haley Lou Richardson, not at all. I do not like her. I don't know if I've mentioned her yet in this video, but she's in this movie too. She's got a pretty prominent role. She's probably the second lead. And I just really don't like her. I've only seen her in The White Lotus season 2, and then in a bunch of ads for that movie, or that show Ponies with Emilia Clarke, and she's just very annoying on screen. She annoys me to tears. I think and in this movie she annoys me to tears too, so vindicated. And I feel good about that. But I think I don't want to say a hack, but she's just terrible. She's got the, like, nothing she's saying is funny, but it's like, oh, like, she's funny. It's like, that's, right? She's supposed to be funny. She's just not, and I don't like her. And her storyline didn't work for me at all. I don't want to give anything away, but her, like, powers, spoiler alert, she has some sort of powers, very stupid. If these guys never seen Stranger Things, we'll dig into that later. And we'll dig into it now. I think that was it. You only really got those three. Like I said, the school shooting stuff did work for me, I guess, for the most part. A lot of the shock humor did too. There is some funny jokes. It's funny enough, the movie. And like I said, yeah, the first, like, 75-80% of this movie is a really good time. But when the movie does lose me is, obviously, like I said, the goal is they're going to save the world. That's the mission. They're setting off to save the world. And once they get to the last room where it's like, all right, here's where we're going to save the world, gone. I was out. Not because the movie wasn't good up to that point, but during that scene, they totally lost me. Verbinski was directing, I don't want to say the hell out of the movie, but he did a damn good job for the first 2 acts of the movie. But this finale, it just looked like piss. It looked like shit. It looked like an Ant-Man and the Wasp in a way, and also like a Stranger Things finale, in parts because of Haley Lou Richardson's character. We're 7 minutes into a review for a movie most people won't even see, so I guess we can give stuff away if you're here. Skip it, back out or whatever, but like her powers are just so ridiculous. She's like allergic to Wi-Fi, or like the internet, or electricity. I think it might just be Wi-Fi, but that ends up being like to her use, and her nose bleeds when, like, that's how you can tell that, like, she's having an allergic reaction. And it's like, Stranger Things much? Like, are we really ripping off 11 from Stranger Things in February of 2026? And that's what it looked like, the quality too. Like, there was just a ton of blood coming out of her nose. There was shitty CGI. She was like talking to her opponent, and it really was just bad stuff. It wasn't the finale. That's why I'm saying, like, up like, I've been saying the first 80%, not 90. And I'm like, I don't know what to call this. The final battle, it just did not work for me at all. I don't know if it's just because I don't like her. Because I don't like her as an actor and I didn't like the character. No, it isn't, because it just looked so bad. The CGI was so bad. And that annoyed me too, because Verbinski directed a really good movie. Or he did a really good job directing up until this point. I was disappointed. Rockwell was innocent throughout the whole thing. Rockwell is great. He's such a good presence. He's so funny. He's so good. You can't call him underrated, because I think he already won an Oscar for 3 Billboards. And I mean, him winning an Oscar, everything else is gravy. But he's just so good in everything he's in. See How They Run, I think, is one of the most underrated movies of the last few years. He's so good in that. He's so great in this. He's having so much fun. His energy is like what drives this movie, and like the backbone, I guess I would say, of the movie. And I mean, anyone else in this role, not anyone else, and it wouldn't have worked, but there's not a lot of guys who could have. A lot of guys could have pulled it off. He did a really good job. He didn't carry, but he kind of did. It was kind of a carry job. It was like a 37-point triple-double, and it was a damn good job. Not one of the year's best, not going to be like on any sort of lists, but a really fun performance from a really fun actor. The actual finale after that battle, again, we're giving stuff away. We're 9 minutes in. It worked for me. They stuck the landing. During the whole Stranger Things meets Ant-Man and the Wasp thing in the end, I was thinking, wow, it's so important to land the plane, especially in a movie like this, like where it's like you're having a good time and you just got, it's like whatever. I don't know why a movie like this, what I mean by that, but you gotta land the plane. And they really didn't in that final battle, but they do bring it home afterwards. Like the twist ending, it really did work for me. And I thought it was a lot of fun. And I thought that it was kind of it was a really good way to end the movie. It was a really fitting ending to the movie. It was like a nice little wink at the camera in a way. Not literally, but I can see how people would be annoyed at this movie. I can see how people don't like it. I heard bad things going in. I saw one vague review that called it like an absolute disaster. And they were being very vague about what movie it was in their replies. I think it was a test screening, but still. It was this movie, and I saw a couple others, people dumping on it, and I've even seen, since it came out last night, people have been shitting on it. But it's fun. I think it's really fun. Maybe that's yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I think most people would. I don't have anything else written down. Yeah, they do stick the landing. The final battle was tough. Rockwell really is just the driving force of the movie. Not a lot of guys that could have made this movie good, fun, and no, Verbinski does a good job too. Yeah. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Interesting premise, good follow through, fun original movie. This is the kind of movie that people say they want. Not movies about AI really, but like an original premise, a good director with a proven track record, a good cast, a great lead performance, a fun original idea, a somewhat big budget, and nobody's going to see it. This movie's going to make $5 million opening weekend. Granted, that might just be because it's not very good and I'm in the minority on this one, but there's plenty of bad movies that make a bunch of money. I mean, I don't want to go through it because it's like subjective, but like Minecraft, like Wicked, I don't know how many other shit movies made gobs of money. Inside Out 2, I'm just naming baby movies. But anyway, it's just very disappointing that a movie like this is going to completely bomb. And then when when Barbie 2 is greenlit a month from now, the Ken spinoff after Project Hail Mary also makes $6 million opening weekend. And people are crying, oh, there's no fresh ideas in Hollywood anymore. Well, you had a movie like this and nobody's going to go see it. You had a fun, original idea directed by a really good director with a very good lead performance. A lot of fun. And no one's going to go see it. But I highly recommend you do. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Go check it out, folks. Like and subscribe. And I don't know, I don't like saying all that.